my mud. I'm
Okay.
almost done. I just need to get down in
Yep.
place.
No problem. No problem. I will. No problem. Remove you from the stage. Hi, folks. Hello. Let's see who we have here. Rod and I are going to have a little chat tonight. It's a Sunday night. We thought we'd have a chat, and why not see if anyone else is interested in joining us? And by the looks of it, Suzanne Eckstein is here. Well, hello, Suzanne. Welcome. Rod will be right back. I think he just had to go poop. He'll be fine. He'll be right back. No, I'm kidding. He's dealing with something at the house. I'm not sure what, but he'll be right back. And then we'll start our conversation. Everything is on the table tonight. We'll be talking. I love discussions about science. We just had the eclipse. So I love planetary science. Absolutely love it. We can talk a little bit of politics as long as it's a polite discussion, as of course. And we can talk about world culture, world happenings, world events. Hey, look who's here, the lovely Sherry. Hi, hopefully I'm not too loud. Hopefully the sound is coming okay. I'm going to put Rad back up on the stage. Hello and welcome. Hi, Rod.
Hey, guys.
I was just welcoming people to our discussion. I was just saying tonight we're just going to have a Sunday night talk. We might talk some culture, some world events with what's going on in the cultures around the world, and maybe a little bit of current events, maybe a little bit of polite politics, maybe a little bit about science. We can even talk about barbecue. What you're barbecuing next. I'm all up for talking with you, Rod. You're one fella I really like to talk to, and it's been too long.
Oh, thanks. It has.
Hi, Sci-Fi Mombi.
One of the questions that keep getting asked by people is, yeah, right on.
Hello, Suzanne Eckstein.
Oh, hey,
hello, Miss Catonic Madman.
How you doing?
Do you recognize Miss Catonic Madman? He's often in the chat.
Oh, cool. Hey, lovely Sherry. Good to see you.
And Doomcock's chats as well. Yeah, so I'm up for anything, Rod. I can discuss politics, religion, whatever with you, because you don't run away screaming with your fingers in your ears if you hear something that you don't agree with.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
We can discuss things like adults, and I have great respect for you, and I think it's returned, and I'm looking forward, man. What are you barbecuing next? Have you been barbecuing yet?
I must admit, I'm one of those. Hang on a second. Let me shut the TV. There. Sorry, I had to shut you up. Well, mute you because you're on.
I could see that.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, I'm. I mean, despite the fact that I know I'm a better than average cook. I mean, what with my Swedish pulp, and I even actually gave that. Four of those to Lisa herself. She loved them. Well, she hasn't tried them yet. She hasn't tried them yet. Well, it's primarily because, and I get it, because I'm thinking that too, and that is, well, when you get older, you don't have the appetite that you had when you was a youngin.
It doesn't take as much. No, it doesn't. And we're nowhere near old, but we are older. And we have less of an appetite, sure. But it's cheaper for us, like for groceries and that, definitely. Hello, Ruben Christopher Hayes. Welcome.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Miss Catonic Madman. Good to see you. Yeah. And by the way, I shouted this out on both my profiles. So.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I shouted out on Twitter as well.
Sweet. Yeah, same.
Well, what about I'm barbecuing, I'll tell you. I've got, some deer, the deer that I shot this fall. I still have a rack of ribs, and I'm thinking about throwing the rack of ribs on the barbecue slow, and just slowly cook the rack of ribs.
Yeah.
What about you? Is it barbecuing season where you are? Because I know you had snow not that long ago.
Oh no, it's totally like barbecue season out here. Yeah, and like. But we don't quite have Well, my brother's barbecue is in the house next door, and I've been meaning to go get it. But I mean, like, my brother also, however, on his, I mean, in his defense, I mean, he's literally just eating beef hot dogs and cereal, and
Oh,
that's pretty much the extent of his of what he chooses to eat, and it's more because, as I said, her- he's in between two hernia operations, and as a,
right.
res-
Yeah.
and as a result, I mean, like he's discovered too, much to his dismay, pretty much anything he eats outside of what he's already, like I said, like just basically cereal, and by cereal, I'm talking like Shreddies. I don't think Shreddies made it across the border to the America or anywhere else.
I don't know. They are good. I do like them
Uh,
with lots of sugar.
yeah, me
Lots of
too.
white refined sugar. Good for all growing boys.
I do too. But again, mom kind of got me scared of sugar, which I'm actually, in retrospect, I'm
Good.
really glad she did, because
Yes.
um God love the
Excellent
rest of
sci-fi movie.
yeah, God love the rest of my blood family, my native family, but all three of my native brothers have diabetes.
Shoot.
Yeah, varying
No.
levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, varying
Darn.
levels. And so I'm really glad that mom pretty much put the fear of God in me in terms of like sugar. Like, don't eat too much sugar. And then, like,
Yep.
I
Good
mean,
for you, man.
as a kid, you're just like, you push it aside. You're like, whatever, and then you just like pour half the bowl on or something.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
no,
We did. We used to have a sugar bowl. My
yeah,
grandmother used to have a friggin' sugar bowl on the kitchen table. It's
yeah.
crazy.
But then, as you grow older, then you kind of like, you just kind of think, you know what? Maybe there was something with what mom said, and like even, I mean, this was when I was, uh, when you kind of get to I'd say, I don't want to say the age of reason, but like, when you get to be an adult, you kind of like, oh, maybe there's something behind what they said, and
Yes.
then,
There's a
I'm like,
reason for the rules.
yeah, and then I kind of, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna roll back on my sugar, and then like I literally did just like 2 teaspoons of sugar, and then like that was it, and
You
like,
put sugar in your coffee anymore?
yeah, yeah. No, I
Do
don't even actually. No,
No,
actually,
me neither.
I use honey.
When I do, I do use a little bit of honey, not often, but yes. It's funny. And now let's get. I like this food conversation, and I like what you have to say there, Rod. And now something. A buddy came over. Well, a brother of a buddy. He came over, and he lives not too far. He's not too far. He's somewhere near Kelowna. Let's put it that way. And
Oh yeah.
the district is telling him that he draws water from the lake there, Lake Okanagan, and they're
Oh,
trying to tell him they're trying to clamp down on people in that area from having their gardens in their homes, their private gardens, Rod. And now he honestly believes with his neighbors that, and I can see this happening because I know they're clamping down on farms in a lot of areas on what you can grow. They're clamping down on having your own chickens. I honestly think that it's almost like there's some sort the idea is to get us all eating processed food from Costco, and then we will need to, after having all this processed food, we'll have health problems, and then we'll have to spend the rest of our lives on pharmaceutical products. And the investors in products, in pharmaceutical products, are also the investors, the guys that invest in big food corporations, huge food corporations. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a brilliant, genius business. It's an evil business plan. They
well,
want us to eat processed food, make it hard for us to produce our own, eat processed crap, and we'll
this
need
is what
pharmaceutical products for the rest of our lives. It's a brilliant way to make money for them if you have no soul.
this is what bothers me more, is that when people uh, buy into it, I mean, like, I'm not putting anybody down for, I mean, because let's face it, I've been there. I am there actually currently, because I've actually my job has my truck has been sidelined for a week, and literally
Nice.
they in the past 2 months they've hired a bunch of new
Oh, hey
kids,
PvP. Hello and welcome.
and hey, they've hired a bunch of new kids, and like literally, so I'm just have my so everybody just has their own truck, and that's it. And God love everybody. I mean, in terms of like, I mean, no, what I'm saying is nobody's called in sick, because if somebody calls in sick, hey, you can get a day, using somebody else's truck, which, but nothing like that has happened. So it's been a week. So I have been sacrifice of, it's been 5 days, 5 work days I've
Oh
been off.
man, I'm sorry to hear that, Rod.
And yeah,
Hey Taylor Swift, Matt
that's
G, thank you very much.
hey,
Welcome.
thanks, guys. Yeah. Uh, yeah, but
That sucks to hear, Rod. I'm sorry to hear that. I know what it's like, man. I haven't worked in quite a while. Yeah, of my own volition. You know, of my own volition. I'm waiting for my. See, I'm putting faith in my buddy. He's trying
yeah,
to. He's been 10 years getting this contracting business up and running. And
yeah,
and if I go and get a job somewhere else, like and we're the contracting business is about like the season starting. Like now is the time
mm,
to start construction. We build
yeah,
houses. We try and build
that's
houses.
right.
We do
Yeah,
renovations. Whatever you want to pay us to do, we do it.
yeah, that's right.
If we have the experience, or which is quite fast. We have a large array of talent between the two of us.
Yeah,
Been on the planet for 52 years almost, Rod.
yeah,
So, point is, I'm waiting. I haven't been going and getting a job that I just have to quit because we're starting up work here pretty soon. And
yeah.
I, we don't have work yet, but I have faith in him, so I'm gonna hold off on
Mhm.
and gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and I think we're gonna
Yeah.
have a good summer. But it just means right now, I can't go
Well,
buying the expensive beers.
you're right. Oh, exactly. Although, oh yeah, no, I mean like those
Nice,
beer,
Suzanne Nextine. Beautiful.
well, like those, well, like those bloody pilsners are brew house pilsners are
To-
man, they're cheaper than water. How do you like that, eh?
oh my goodness, cheaper than water. That's awesome. It does
Yeah.
sound like a conspiracy theory PvP, except it's a brilliant business plan. It makes I have no doubt businesses have time and time again proven that they do not care
Hey,
about
Stark of
people's
Iron.
health over
How you
profit.
doing, man?
They they love profit and they don't care who they hurt to get it. And they push a lot of money onto governments and municipalities to make rules, make it hard for us to. It's hard for you to grow. I
Well,
heard they're going to tax. They tried in a local region. I don't think it's going to get through. But to tax people for their own well water, put a meter on your
it
own
is.
well, Rod. That's
I know.
crazy.
I know,
What?
and they've been
What is
trying to
that?
do that. They're trying to do the same thing with like just plain old
Yes.
rainwater.
Hey, Eugene Bird, welcome. And Rod, anyone got hots for T'Pol?
For what?
Yes, off
Oh,
Enterprise. T'Pol.
oh,
You know
right,
the
right,
Vulcan
right. Yeah,
science
yeah,
officer off Enterprise with
yeah,
Scott
yeah,
Bakula, Captain
yeah.
Archer.
Oh, oh, totally.
Huge. Yes. T'Pol, very. Actually, she might be. I think she might be my favorite Star Trek girl. She might be.
Well, that's. Oh, okay.
There's
I'm more of
a long list.
I'm a 7 of 9 man, but myself, but
Yeah. Yeah. I could
which
see
is
that. Yeah.
which is funny because that actually goes against my usual. I'm actually usually go for the dark haired ladies,
Yeah.
and
They
you
do
know,
it by helicopter, PvP. They do it by helicopter, same as I used to check for weed. It's crazy, man. It's
no
crazy. They do
shit.
it with,
Yeah,
yeah. Like if you do anything near like if you've got a creek running through your property, and if you like sink any pumps into it or do anything like that, they'll fly around in helicopters and look for that stuff too. It's I don't know. I guess we got to move to in the Yukon. Yukon. When I was working up there at the gold mines, Yukon seemed like you could be free to do whatever the heck you wanted up there.
yeah.
You know, but like the speed limit was 90, but everyone just did 120. I mean, you passed a cop, you just both just waved at each other because they're doing 120 as well. There's
Yeah.
no one on like I drove for 6 hours from Whitehorse to the camp up in Mayo. And yes, it does have a clinic, and yes, we do call it the Mayo Clinic. And that's a 6.5 hour drive. And I think I've done it a few times where I would pass like 3 cars. So you take spare food, you take spare water, you take emergency supplies.
Yeah.
In case you get stranded.
There was a Murdoch Mysteries episode filmed in the Yukon, and it also starred Aaron Ashmore, and he's one of twins because his brother is Sean Ashmore.
Stark of Iron.
And
okay, I've heard that name, Sean Ashmore. Hi, Stark of Iron.
Well, the reason why you've heard of him is because he was actually Pyro in X-Men: The Last Stand.
I hope not PvP. I really hope not. I would agree with that. I really believe you're correct, PvP. I 100% support that statement. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yep, you're one correct man there, PvP. Yeah. So Rod, twin brothers, eh? That'd be competitive, wouldn't it? To see who could, like, for fame and stuff.
Yeah. It is funny because they do look the same in
PvP.
Yeah, and
but his cat. I'm telling you, my buddies. I was talking to him. My buddy's brother is having his counsel right now, telling him that he can't irrigate for a garden, and there's no like he draws from the lake, and he has filters. Like there's no reason. Like they're telling him he can't. They're trying to shut down him doing his own garden. It's like, no, and he's saying, no, you're crazy. Course. You have no right to do that. He's telling them to go fly a kite, but they are trying it around Kelowna. They are trying it. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry, Rod. I interrupted you, and that was rude.
That's okay. No, actually, funnily enough, also, I think it was Sean or Aaron. I think it was Aaron. He's actually in The Boys, season 2.
Oh, I like The Boys. Yeah. Okay, I haven't watched a lot, but I think it's well written.
It is. It's very well.
What would be the rational reason to stop gardens? Well, my buddy's brother, who I know him well, spent all day with him out in the sun. It was awesome. We were, I was his little boy. He was playing with the lightsaber I've got. It was awesome. And then we were planting stuff in the garden. But he was saying, PvP, that the rationale that his council was using was water. They didn't want him drawing water.
It's not just that. You're right. You're absolutely right. But here's the other thing.
And around here, they don't want us drawing water from our wells for gardens. They was talk about putting meters on it and charging us for it.
Here's the other thing. Well, you see, here's the other thing too. I mean,
what's that?
And because you're actually a lot closer to that than you think. Because my old Peppy always used to say, my dad told me a long time ago that especially when it came to farming, and back then I was too young enough to not know not know how important a farmer is. But I was always happy, and I was always glad and happy to plant the potatoes. I loved having digging the potatoes out of the from the garden for so. But anyway, as I said, as a kid, I just never understood it. I never realized how much the government wants to encroach on everything around everything in the public, and as a result,
that way.
Yes,
why?
And as a
they
result,
just want the control. I get it's the type of people that go into politics. Because it used to be regular Joes that would go into politics, and now like they're all lawyers, I think.
Well, see, you're right. Well, they're really honestly, I don't think they're lawyers. I think so much. I mean, although I will
foreign politicians.
I will humorously quote my own brother. Which is like, if it weren't for lawyers, we wouldn't need lawyers.
My dad's a lawyer, and I tease him about it all the time. But he's a government lawyer, not a defense lawyer. So he was on.
Anyway, getting back to the whole
didn't
thing.
Get paid much. Please.
But getting back to what Dad said. Dad said the biggest thing, like I said, when I was a kid. I mean, like I look back on it now, and suddenly it really hits me. And that was Dad said to me, once said to me, "Control the food. You can control the food supply. You control the people." Easy, simple, just like that.
Isn't there historic like history? There's examples of that in history, where exactly with Russia, with China. Didn't Mao Zedong, wasn't it Mao that starved like a shit ton of his people, like hundreds of thousands of millions of his own people? He starved them. You're right, controlling the food. It's for control, and I know that sounds crazy, but. Historically,
it's not crazy.
I mean, we have historic examples of exactly that. There are like, oh, it's crazy that that barn would burn down. Well, it's burned down 3 times in the past. Well, then maybe it's not
Yeah.
that crazy. So the same with, like, there are historic examples of governments using starvation on their own people
That's right.
for control. It's
Yeah.
happened in our
Yeah.
living memory. You know, I mean, there are people alive old enough to remember. What bourbon are you ordering? Suzanne Eckstein says Stark of Iron, joking. Same in Saskatchewan, says Suzanne Eckstein. They're trying to curtail the water. Yeah.
That's right.
Appreciate your vote of confidence, Eugene Bird. Yeah, well, you are a legend, Tony. Heard you singing on your last stream, and man, you're creative, and you're doing your own stuff now, more and more and more. So keep it up, buddy.
Also,
do you mind reading? Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to say too, if anybody has not seen it, I 100% tell them recommend this movie to them, which is fun. Which is funnily enough recommended.
Hang on, Rod. Sorry. Sure. Sorry, just a second. I got a little situation here. Hang on, please.
Sure. I'll check out the comments here. One of them was in Smallville and Rookie, and yeah, that's right. That's right, lovely Sherry. Yeah, Sean and Aaron Ashmore were one of them. Well, Sean was in Smallville, and Aaron was in Murdoch Mysteries, and actually he played. He played basically a mystery character, and then you literally find out at the end of the episode that when Murdoch goes to leave the Yukon, he shakes Ashmore's hand, and then he says, "Oh no!" Suddenly, I'm brain farting on who he is, but I know he's an author. Like he says, like he's an author, and he wrote. Oh yeah, he's the writer of The Call of the Wild. That was really funny, too, because he's just Murdoch is just walking away, and then he says, and then Ashmore asks him, "Are you gonna? You ever think you'll be back?" And then Murdoch says, "Yeah, if I feel the call of the wild." And then that's when Ashmore laughs. He's like, "Call of the wild." I like that. I like the sound of that. And then he says, "What's your name?" And then he says his author name, and then, like I said, I'm totally brain farting on who wrote The Call of the Wild, but it was a really funny, in joke on Murdoch.
Yeah, I like little in jokes like that. On well written shows like that. Now I'll read this one from Sci-Fi Mombi, and then if you wouldn't mind reading the next one, I'll read. Sci-Fi Mombi says, the only reason I could possibly buy on this would be severe drought. There is a little bit, there is a lack of precipitation this year. It's been a drier year in some areas of BC, but certainly nowhere near drought. I don't know why. And you know what? PvP says more on this Sci-Fi Mommy. And Rod, would you mind reading what our friend Pleasant Valley Picker wrote?
PvP.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Okanagan Lake is Okanagan Lake is 80 miles long and one of the deepest lakes in the world. Wow. I did not know that either. There's so much water there, we'd need a much bigger population to be an issue. Oh, well,
I believe, yeah, that's true. The Loch Ness Monster's cousin, Ogopogo, is in that lake. And they've had to sent a submarine down looking for it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, actually, and it's funny that it's not funny. Well, it is funny, but that remember anybody who follows me on Twitter notes that Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday are my running days. And I run. The lake is exactly 1 mile away, and not only that, but at the very end, there's about 300 meters from the end of the like the corner, which is literally the lake too, by the way. Are these 300-meter hills? You go down, and then you go up 90 degrees, like 90 degrees. You turn 90 degrees and you go up the other way.
Yeah,
and
that's 1,000 feet for our American friends.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'd like to do is, I used to like to just run the one hill, but then like my sister was dating a runner, and then I used to actually just go like 800 meters because as a kid, I paced out that the power poles were 100 meters apart.
Okay, right.
And and Johnson's Gate, which was kind of the top of the hill, the top of the rise, and then their mailbox and the and power pole were basically exactly 800 meters from my gate. And so I was like, hey, cool, right on. And
Yeah, that
then
works.
anyway, my
Hate
sister's
those
boyfriend
atmosphere.
Gary, my sister's boyfriend Gary was like, hey, why don't you do? Hey, we're this far. Why don't we run the hills? And then like, ever since he's told me that, and then like it's always hit me, and I'm just kind of like, I made it this far. Why don't I run the hills? So yeah, and we didn't just run one hill down the one hill. We went up the other hill, up to the very top, and then we came back down and we went back up. So that's actually a total of 1,200. Is it 1,200? Yeah, 1,200 meters of incline. Because 300 meters down, 300 meters up, 300 meters down, 300 meters up. So like, and like that's
Right. Yeah.
that's a pretty taxing jog. I don't mind telling you, but it's
No
fun.
kidding, man. No kidding.
It's fun, and I'm really glad. And it keeps me healthy, and I'm just like, and this has now been I've been doing this now for over a year, and
Nice.
I've
Brilliant.
been, and like at 53, I'll tell you, I've never felt better in my life.
That is excellent, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm feeling probably among the best I've felt in my life, and I turned 52 here in a few weeks, couple of weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. I can't believe it, but I've been running and doing. I built a chin up bar, like a pull up bar in my house there in my
Nice.
kitchen.
Nice.
So yeah, it's wicked, man.
Well done.
Yeah, been eating better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe's Atmosphere is asking, what are you into tonight, fellers? How about you, Rod? You go first.
Well, I'm kind of just humbled and sort of like in love with my lady Lisa. I don't want to say there. I just said it
Nice.
out loud on a stream too,
Yeah,
and I don't want to.
yeah, you did.
I don't want her.
I
I don't
don't know
want her
whether he
seeing.
meant drinking though. He might have meant a beverage.
No, well, I'm drinking mud water.
Oh, okay, yeah. Got some.
No, I'm talking about like last night. I went out wrestling. Went out to wrestling, not wrestling with her.
Yes.
And I got to say, wow, I guess she must actually
That is
like me.
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, she must like me in
Correct,
terms
PvP.
of because this has now been 3 wrestling dates that I've taken her to, and she's enjoyed every one. And I do
Wow.
have to say though, like the wrestlers last night, man, they took everything up a whole notch. I mean, like
A notch, right? Good
yeah,
for you,
I
man.
mean, like huge. Well, like I mean, all the wrestlers, like the performances were just amazing. Like we were just kind of like,
Is every week, every Saturday night in Edmonton, wrestling is a big deal.
every second night, second Saturday. I think they try to make it every Saturday night, but like still, well, to make
Big
it,
ones every
but
second.
it's
Yeah.
and
I didn't know this either. Excellent.
yeah,
Thanks, Suzanne XT.
one of their newest wrestlers is the nephew of the British Bulldog,
Oh,
Tommy
I
Billington.
recognize that name, the British Bulldog.
Yeah.
Suzanne Eckstein wants to know, are you in Manitoba?
No, I'm not. I'm in Alberta.
Yeah, he's in Alberta and
And
I'm in BC. Suzanne is in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
It is a natural wonder PvP. Okanagan Lake is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
I honestly can't believe
Suzanne Eckstein has seen Ogopogo twice. Are you?
Oh, wow.
Do you know how many times I've driven past that lake as part of my job, Suzanne Eckstein? And I've always looked for Ogopogo and I've never seen it. You've seen Ogopogo
I went there
twice?
Yeah.
What were you smoking, Suzanne Eckstein? Were you on mushrooms? Wow, I've never seen that. But so many people have seen it. Yeah, 100%. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Suzanne Eckstein. Suzanne Eckstein. Just joking about the mushrooms. It's not good to make fun of your your guests in the chat.
When I was driving for Home Hardware, I actually drove past Okanagan, and I mean,
Cool.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I didn't see Ogopogo, but I will say it's hard not. It's not hard
Yeah.
to to think. Oh wow,
Oh,
there's something out there. You know.
thanks, Joe's Atmosphere. I'm drinking a little bit of rum tonight, but I'm sober now. I haven't had any yet, but I might have a little bit. Some Captain Morgan, but no, I haven't had anything yet tonight. Do you mind
For
reading
me,
what PvP?
it's sure. Well, for me, it's a school night, so
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
in terms
did
of
I do that?
oops, no, that
You
was
did
me. I'm trying to. Well, come on, new comment. Go back there.
that. It's so freaky when you're on the stream because you
Yeah,
have full control of everything.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. But getting back to it, well, no, it was just interesting to I find it also neat that you're in BC because
Cool.
the see, I don't know how you guys have them, but the traffic lights on the at the intersection, they're vertical in BC.
Most of them are, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
whereas
but in New
whereas
Brunswick,
here,
they're mixed and matched.
yeah, well here in Alberta, nope, they're all horizontal. Well, I mean,
Right,
only the ones that are mounted onto the side of the pole, But I
right.
mean, yeah, no, like the overhead ones, yeah, like they're vertical,
Yeah, yeah.
or horizontal, I
Oh,
should say.
horizontal, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
like some of the wrestlers last
like
night. I'm glad she enjoyed it, man. That is really cool that she's getting into it.
well, I don't want. I mean, it's just we're taking things slow, and I just,
Of course.
I was just happy,
Yeah.
I was just, and I was happy too to scramble the money together for us to be able to go,
Yeah.
So,
Excellent.
and
Do
yeah,
you mind reading this from our friend?
yeah. Leonard Nimoy came to Kelowna and did an episode of In Search of. Oh, cool. About searching for Ogopogo. That's awesome. That
I
is
did not
awesome.
know that. That I did not know that. I'm gonna have to look for that PvP. Thank you for uh, putting that in there.
Oh,
And
okay,
that is so
Susan
cool.
Epstein. I did not know that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. In
Yeah, no,
search of the
no,
Ogopogo
Thunderheart
monster.
is
1978. Wow.
yeah.
Leonard Nimoy did a
No,
lot in 1978. Do you know what else he did that
yeah.
year, Rod?
No, what?
The coming ice age, how Earth is entering a period of ultimate freezing. In
Hmm.
1978, he did that documentary. They don't play that one often too much anymore.
I think it's
They're-
probably also because some would consider it. It just was. It's. It
yeah,
doesn't look like it'll happen. Especially and then
no,
this is. I want to
they're
get to. I
always
want to
wrong.
get to the Senate. I want to get to this later, but about
Sure.
again about fire season because it's already started. But getting back
Cheers,
to
sci-fi Mombi.
Nimoy,
Leonard Nimoy, yeah,
I'll,
love the guy.
I'll bet you didn't know he was in the Outer Limits, the
I,
new Outer Limits,
I,
not
what?
the one, not the older one, the 1993 one that went to 2001.
No, I didn't know that at all. Oh
Yep.
man, those guys are way better than me. I fake it a lot. Yeah, I don't go too hard.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah.
for
No,
maintaining.
Suzanne Eckstein. Thunderheart is just my pen name. I just chose it because I like the Val Kilmer movie, and
Yeah,
uh, I
darn
thought it
right.
was a cool. I thought it was a cool name for wrestling, And then actually, when I decided to become an author, I thought, hey, that'd be a cool pen name, And then
Yeah,
the only other thing too is that my editor also kind of like, well, why don't you go R.F. Thunderheart? Rod Forsberg Thunderheart, and I'm just like, I mean, I mean, I guess author arrogance, but like on the other hand, I don't know. I just that always drove me up the wall as a reader. Well, why can't you just say what your name is? I mean,
right. It
I mean,
sounds pretentious when you just have initials.
yeah, and I just kind of hello.
Damn, you look like
Uh,
a few of the folks in Manitoba, says Suzanne Eckstein
hmm,
to Rod.
uh,
Do you have family in Manitoba, maybe?
maybe, but again, I mean, like,
PvP was into wrestling in the late 80s. A lot of people were PvP. Yeah. A lot of people were into
oh
wrestling
yeah,
in the late 80s and 90s too.
oh yeah,
Absolutely. Um, I lived in a house in Whistler Ski Resort, and there was like 8 dudes living together because it was cheaper. It was too expensive to otherwise, so we crammed as many people in there as we could.
Yeah.
And all the boys used to come home from working in the hotels, and I did not smoke weed, but they all smoked weed, and they would just smoke their brains out watching wrestling, and just watch and just put on wrestling and just watch. Wow, that's I appreciate the athleticism, I really do, but I never got into watching it very much. But now you know what? In Mexico City, I did go to see the luchador wrestling with the Mexico City.
Nice.
My God, those guys are athletes. My
Oh
God,
yeah.
they're athletes. Holy jeez, the stuff they did was incredible. So, you grew up there, okay? So probably no
Oh wow.
mushrooms then. That
Oh
is
wow.
awesome. Yeah, Ogo Pogo. You saw it before you were into the mushrooms. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Sasquatch is real also, she says.
Oh, I totally believe that. By the way, and which also reminds me too, my nana always told me, why haven't this, and like I'm sure the scientific community has probably said this too, or people have asked, like, why haven't they found any of the Sasquatch bodies? Well, there's a reason for that. And my nana said, and the reason is Sasquatch bury their dead.
I've heard that. I have heard that.
Yeah. Which
do you
that's
know
going to
his
be
name? That PvP is talking about?
Oh, of course.
My
Jim
buddy
Howard.
Jim loved wrestling and got me into it. We actually got tickets and saw the Ultimate Warrior versus Ravishing Rick Rude. I remember those guys.
That tells you what a good wrestler Rick Rude was, because he was able to make the Warrior look good. Because that's the key to being, well, as Bret Hart said in his own documentary. The key to being a great good guy is being able to be a great bad, or the key to being a great good guy or a great bad guy is being able to work with a great good guy.
It's a team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a duo.
Yeah. I mean,
Suzanne X says, Rod, I asked because I have friends in Rousseau. Huh?
Yeah.
Rousseau. Rousseau?
Rousseau. I think you were right, the first pronunciation.
And Buffalo Point that are Thunders, not Thunderheart, right? So it is a stage name, but a very cool stage name. Like it's unforgettable, Rod. Really, I mean, once you hear it, it's like Rodd Thunderheart. That makes total friggin' sense. He's a wrestler, of course he is.
Thanks.
Of course he is. West Kegel, hello, welcome. I just wanted to drop by and say hi. Good to see you, West Kegel. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, right on. Yeah.
Welcome and hello.
Yeah. Yeah, no, by the way, I
wow.
never
Did he have a temper PvP when Ultimate lost and he was so pissed off? Ultimate, he had an attitude. I don't remember a whole lot of Ultimate Warrior, but he was pissed off. I do remember him. Well, of course, the wrestlers were actors. They're showmen.
Yeah, when he lost against Rick Rude, then Heenan held his foot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Snail Messiah. Well, hello to you, sir. And
Yeah,
what were you doing way over here in BC? I did not know you were here. Over here, Snail Messiah. Do you mind reading what Snail Messiah has to say, Rod, if you can?
Sure. I went to Kelowna and never saw Ogopogo, even though I did call, left out some bread, wiggled my toes. Nothing happened.
Oh, shit. Those are the things. You did everything right. You did everything right, buddy.
Yeah.
That should have worked.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are still some horizontal traffic lights where I live, says West Kegel. And I think that's in the east. Yeah, he's in the east coast of America. At least where I lived up to 6 months ago. Yeah, okay. I believe he is in the east side of America. Hello, hello. Everyone's saying hello. Hey, thanks for being here, folks.
Doing,
really
everybody?
Appreciate it. Yeah, Rod and I are enjoying having you all here chatting with us. Yeah. Nimoy was in the 90s Outer Limits, filmed in Vancouver. Man, I wish I had been. I was here in 98. I would have driven to Vancouver just to meet Leonard Nimoy, just to
Yeah,
see
see
it
that.
filming.
Yeah, and too, I bet
It does PvP.
you find it interesting that the episode he appeared in, because it was called I, Robot. It was based on the
Oh,
Yeah, it was based on the Isaac Asimov. It was actually based on and probably definitely more accurately than the Will Smith movie.
okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, because like the Will Smith movie is loosely is based on, whereas like i.e., like use brackets or sorry, not brackets, quotes. Whereas no, the episode on Outer Limits was a accurate, uh, fairly accurate retelling of the robot of the sentient robot killing its owner. I mean, again, that's the basic plot of Will Smith, but like I mean, whereas like the episode, Outer Limits episode, is literally almost follows the story to the letter, you know,
I
and
like
because
that when stories do that. That's cool.
because Nimoy plays the robot's defender, and then Nimoy even at one point has to discuss has to figure out whether or not why should I, I mean, I'm defending a robot. Why would I defend a robot? That doesn't make sense, And then, but
Hmm.
then, like he talks to the robot, and he suddenly realizes that it just like there's just this moment where he's just kind of, kind of this thing. This isn't a living, breathing. Well, not breathing, but this is a living organism.
A sentient being, yeah.
Yeah.
Patient Zero of the Outer Limits is also excellent, says PvP. I think I remember Patient Zero. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that title.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was about. And she does say Rousseau. And yes, hi, the Never Dead 4 says Nick Nolte is Sasquatch. That is possible. Nick, I like Nick Nolte. He'd make a good Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Ooh, Down and Out in Oregon Hills. I've seen Down and Out in Beverly Hills. That was a
Oregon
good movie.
Hills. Yeah.
Suzanne Eckstein says to us, I lived in that lake day and night. Oh, you must have lived very close to the lake or on the lake. That's awesome, Suzanne. And
Nice.
an old witch that owned Hoot's Sweet Penny candy store told my mom that I would die by drowning. Mom thought that she meant in Okanagan Lake. Oh, wow. Well, it's a serious lake. I mean, what is it, a mile across? And it's fresh water. It's harder. Yeah. Hey, good
What
night to
happened?
you, Sci-Fi Mommy. Good night to you.
Okay, Suzanne, I need to know then. So what happened to your mom?
Yeah, like did she keep you away from water, I'm assuming? I don't know. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, what am I saying? I'm sorry. I thought it was your mom that was. Never mind. Never mind.
No.
I confused.
Yeah.
No. I get
Yeah.
it. I get it now. I
That's
get it now.
yeah. No,
Uh,
the Okanagan, yeah, it's fascinating there, man. But I there's no shortage of water in that lake, so I don't know why they
yeah.
would start putting water restrictions on people just to
Yeah.
curtail their gardens. Yeah.
Oh, and I wanted
PvP
to.
says
Yeah. Sorry.
used to be on the tube.
No. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. That's
Patient
right.
Zero. Yeah. Oh, you ran the
Yeah.
local motels on the lakefront. Oh, that's very cool, Suzanne Eckstein. I've worked in hotels for 20 years up in Whistler. So I know, I bet you have a lot of stories about hotel guests and motel guests and the silliness that ensues. It's
Yeah.
you definitely get a lot of cool stories.
Yeah.
The
By the
penny
way, that
candy
the lake,
story
the lake.
sat on top of giant chicken legs.
Yeah.
That's
The
interesting.
lake. The lake that I run by. It's called Wizard Lake. It's It's about 7.5 miles long, and it's only about half a mile wide. It reportedly has no bottom. Obviously it does, I think, but like,
Oh, I knew a girl like that once.
yeah, they haven't found. They haven't found. No, they haven't found it. Like they've never found. Also, the other thing too that makes it a little scary for swimming, because first of all, you walk out like 5 feet and you're already up to your knees, and then another 10 feet, and then like suddenly like, like, whoa, it's gone.
Oh
But
shit.
it is a wonderful lake for water skiing and boating and water skiing and fishing. There's some really good jack out there. But
Oh.
yeah, but it's also again, I mean, I don't believe that it's bottomless. It just means that they haven't found it or they haven't discovered it.
Exactly.
And they've sent underwater submarines down there, and
Yeah, right.
never found them.
Well,
Never
Suzanne
found them.
Eckstein's mom tried to keep her away from the water. And she says the Never Dead 4, it was one of those silver shops between the shops tucked away. Okay. PvP says they began putting water meters in Vernon 20 years ago. Okay, so Vernon is fairly close to Kelowna. Just a bullshit cash grab, basically. Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
How come people? Did anybody question that? They should have.
I don't think Canadians question very much, Rod.
We're not. No, we're not. We're lousy
Agree
at that.
with you on that, says PvP. I really think so, Rod. I really think so. PvP says yes, Suzanne. And the Never Dead 4. Oh yeah, no, I haven't heard. I try and avoid all drama, and I am blissfully ignorant of all such things. But I've heard. But yeah, a silver shop. Yeah, okay. I love silver shop. I love silver antique shops, Rod. But yeah, I don't think. Oh, nice, beautiful.
No, I like silver. I got it in
really
Cozumel.
Don't. Oh, okay, Cozumel.
Yeah,
love Cozumel. I agree. I don't think Canadians do speak up enough, and I don't know why. I mean, yeah.
Well, it's practically ingrained in us to be polite and not say anything. Because the other thing too is that
there's a different. Does that mean be a doormat though? Because we seem to be.
No, I'm with 100% with you on that one. But I mean, the big thing also is just simply, it's kind of Sorry, America. This is nothing on you guys. It's just simply like we don't want to be as interpreted as much as they are in terms of like loud and sorry, but obnoxious.
Right. We want to purposely separate ourselves.
We just want to be a little,
we just try and be ourselves.
But by the same token,
naturally.
Yeah, but by the same token, you're absolutely right. We need to speak up when it comes to like little things like this that infringe on our rights to do things. And
absolutely, man. Like this electric car bullshit. I am sorry. I will buy a fuel efficient gas so that it runs properly. I will drive it carefully so I don't burn a lot of fuel. I will only drive it when I need to. I will never get an electric car. I'm sorry. I live in the country, and in a forest fire evacuation situation, and forest fires happen in British Columbia, 70% of them, according to Environment Canada, were human caused. Doesn't mean arsenic could have been glass from a Coca-Cola bottle. But anyway, forest fires happen. Would you want to be relying on an electric car in a forest fire evacuation?
Have you watched the Grand Tour on Amazon Prime?
I've seen parts of it. I'm familiar. I'm familiar with the guys, Jeremy Clarkson and
Richard Hammond and James May.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, James May crashed an electric car that had 8 batteries, 8 motors.
Oh my goodness!
Guess what happened to the car? Well, obviously, I mean, like first of all, he crashed it. Like it was like obviously it was on fire and everything like that. Guess what happened?
They couldn't put it out for 2 days straight.
7 days. Because what happened is the fire heated up, and eventually the battery blew. But like what happened was then the fire moved on to the next battery. And the next battery, it heated up.
And
all of a sudden,
oh no! They need a firewall between each of them.
And then
Well, they can't
yeah,
though.
they
That's
can't. And like,
crazy.
and that's the thing. It's these lithium ion batteries that just like, holy cow, So
Oh man, I've seen so many
yeah.
stories about that, about people, fire departments, not being able to put them out, and
Yeah.
insurance companies making like certain parkades and parking structures say like you can't park your electric vehicle in here, like our insurance company
Mhm.
won't let you for
Yeah,
those
yeah.
reasons. Yeah, that's crazy.
You know,
Um,
it bothers me more is that they're literally like forcing us on the electric vehicle on us. Like what they're forgetting.
yes,
Well, not forgetting. Well, no, they're
no
nobody
silver, S
nobody
liver.
nobody wants to give us the alternative.
No, you mean like a hydrogen or something? Well, possible. No
No, see
silver,
what you're saying.
S
No, what I'm
liver.
saying is, yeah. No, what I'm
I don't know
saying
what S
is,
liver is.
if you didn't know, Henry
Y
Ford
mhm.
before even electric cars came along. Which, by the way, there's a really interesting episode on
Yeah, same here.
Murdoch Mysteries seasons 5, called "The Death of the" or who killed the electric car. It's a really good episode. I highly recommend
Oh,
you look it up.
that sounds familiar. I've heard of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But anyway, getting back to that, Henry Ford he actually created uh, his Model T to run on hemp fuel.
Whoa.
No kidding. I'll have to send you the video.
If you
There's a,
suck on the
there's a
tailpipe, do you get high?
no, it's no because
How how do you know? Can I try?
because, because there's different types of hemp.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
PvP says, "I'm driving a 1993 Chrysler Concorde that still runs like a beast." I love
nice.
those old cars, man. I still know how to work on those cars. You don't need a computer to fix
I
them.
had a 90.
Put maybe
Yeah, no, and I had a
1,000 in
90.
10 years.
I know, and I had a
That's awesome.
90. I had a 94 Ford F-150, two tanks. The only thing I didn't like about it was that, well, the two tanks cost twice as much to fill up, and
Ooh.
each tank only got me 300 kilometers,
Oh my
which
goodness. Yeah. Yeah.
which is
Wow.
funny. Which is funny considering that my current car that I have, Chevrolet Chev Impala. This
Oh yeah.
this car, the car that I have, I mean, like it's a it's it's not quite a winter beater, as we call them here in Alberta, but because it's still in pretty good shape. But I can still get 675 kilometers per tank. That's two of my
Wow.
Ford. Yeah, that's my Ford F-150 tanks together.
You
And I didn't
drive
have to.
with a light touch.
Yeah. So
You don't
no,
drive
but
like a
like
maniac,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
Good.
yeah.
And Suzanne
But
Eckstein says, yeah, she only drives if she has to. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. See, Henry Ford actually intended for the fuel of his F-150, or pardon me, his Model Ts. He intended it to come from the field, the farmers. That was what he. That was his
Oh,
way of trying
right.
to to subsidize the farmers.
Right. Do you mind reading this from our friend Snail Messiah, who I believe is joining us from all the way from Europe?
Oh, cool.
So
Hey,
welcome to
Snail.
you, Snail Messiah.
Yeah.
Wow, what time in
There.
the okay, it's early in the morning, I guess, where you are. Holy shit. Like
Mm,
quite early.
can't be. Actually, it can't be that early. I mean, in fact, it's
6 in the
probably like
morning.
late. Oh,
6 a.m.
where does she live? No,
Snail
she's why
Messiah.
she.
It's I believe it's a boy, and I believe it's somewhere in Scandinavia.
Well, then that would probably, it can't be that early. Then it must be probably about 6 in the morning. I'm thinking,
Yeah, yeah. Do you mind
because my
reading what he has to
brain.
say?
Sure. Toyota is going all out in all Toyota. Toyota. Okay, Toyota is going all out in on hydrogen. What's scary about hydrogen is that YouTuber Thunderfoot, a nuclear physicist, is afraid of hydrogen. Well, of course, everybody knows what happened to uh,
The
to
Hindenburg.
the Hindenburg. I was going to say,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
hydrogen is explosive.
Yeah. Right. Well, the only reason they put I spent some time in German museums. I've been to Germany a couple of times, I think. And my
Yeah.
understanding is that they wanted to put helium in the Hindenburg, but America wouldn't sell them the helium. So
Wow.
they had no choice but to use hydrogen. Yeah, knowing that it was explosive, but they took trust us, we're taking precautions. Shit.
Wow.
Uh, and Suzanne Eckstein says, sweet ride to PvP. She's driving a 2010 Honda Pilot SUV. I like Honda. I
Oh,
like
those are
Honda.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in a 2003 Toyota. It's
Huh.
older, but I can work on it, Rod. I swapped out the engine myself with my buddy. Well, I used
Huh.
his
Oh,
tools.
nice.
He let me use his hoist and his tools. I did all the work myself with his
Oh, nice.
tools and a little bit of help. But
Huh.
it's good to be able to work on your car yourself. I don't want a computerized car that I don't know how to work on. And I certainly don't want a computerized car that can be hacked into by
Well, that's
anyone from a Chinese dude somewhere working for the CCP, or
that's the
if the
problem
friggin'
with
police want to hack into
that's
my
the
car. I
that's
don't
the
want them
problem
to.
with yeah, I know.
The
That's the
government.
problem.
I don't want the government to be able to hack into my car. I'm sorry. No,
Yeah,
not going to
that's the
happen.
problem. See, that's the problem. People don't realize what they're well, first of all, we're being juiced. We're being forced to depend on them, and that is the problem.
Hmm.
Not enough people are, like you said,
Yes.
not enough people are standing up against this, and more people need to stand up and say, no, we're not going to take this. No, we're just not going to buy electric cars.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right. I
because
don't want
again,
electric.
electric car.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know if you saw MythBusters, but they proved that a diesel engine can run on used French fry oil.
I did see that. I loved
Yeah.
MythBusters. Absolutely. Well, I was kind of had the hots for Carrie. A redhead, man. I got a thing for redheads. What can I say?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, that's exactly. I'm with you
PvP.
100%.
I'm Spider-Man, right? I mean, well, pretend to run around in a suit anyway. PvP says, I ran into a young guy at the liquor store and he worked at a car dealership. He stopped me and said, wow, a Concorde. He was so happy to see one. Absolutely, man. A 1993. Yeah, that's a stylish older car, man. Absolutely. And Suzanne Eckstein says, yeah, Spider-Man, my ride needs a computer guy to fix stuff. All the lights and bells are on the dash and it's lit up like a Christmas tree.
They don't want you to do that. They want
Yeah,
you to depend on them.
correct. They really do. Yeah. Well, because there's more money in
Yeah.
it. And the
Well,
guys the guys that
well,
are
no,
making
it's
money off of this are throwing so much money as lobbyists into the government to make these rules happen. Yeah, of course.
well,
It's
not
in their best
lobbyists.
interest.
Just simply companies. All they do is just simply keep throwing money at the politician and sponsor them, and then like, if the politician doesn't like Trudeau, goddamn asshole, doesn't do
They
what
are
they say.
better than new cars. Yeah.
If Trudeau doesn't do it, like if their man in power doesn't do what they say, fine. They'll just you know bounce them in the next election and make sure that they sponsor the next guy. Which
That's right. That's right.
that's
Wow.
how it goes.
I didn't know this. Snail Messiah says during World War II, some Danish cars were fueled by manure.
That doesn't
Really?
surprise me. Wow, wow, that's
Okay, that
cool.
would work in Ottawa. You could have cars working by that in Ottawa. That's where all the politicians are to you non-Canadians. Oh, the humanity. Yes, the Hindenburg. Yep, I've seen that broadcast many a time. Stark of Iron, and good to have you here, Stark of Iron.
Yeah,
Awesome to see you
good
here.
to see you, Tom. Yeah.
He says, my Chrysalis Corvega,
Oh, Christmas.
Atomic V8. I know her inside and out.
Oh, okay. Right. One of those, like one of those Tony Stark cars. Right.
Oh, okay. Suzanne X-Teen says when it comes to mechanics, she's a true girly girl. She needs a man. Yeah. It's if you're a dude, I think you should have at least basic tool use, practice, experience, and knowledge. I mean, I was a bookworm till I was 18, Rod. I the first time I went to change oil, I thought you filled the oil up to the top of the motor. Thank God I didn't turn the key. I didn't know jack shit. So I think all dudes should learn a little bit about mechanics. Absolutely. And
This
any
is
girl that is
why.
interested, but if you're a guy in particular, because it's expected of us, and it's
This is
handy.
why. This is
It is
why
handy.
I've enjoyed. This is why I enjoyed growing up on the farm here, because at one point there, Dad took us to 4-H, and he enrolled me and my brother in small engines course. And
Oh,
we learned. Me and him, we each were given two lawnmower motors. I think mine was one from um, a rototiller, and
ooh,
yeah, and like we took the motor apart, completely apart, and then like cleaned it all up, scrubbed it, you know, installed new pistons. I mean
nice.
they were single cylinders, but the point is that I mean, as a kid, I was mad at Dad for like, why? I don't want to do this. I mean, at first, but I mean, like, my brother was
Right.
really,
It
really,
sounds
really
like a
totally,
chore.
yeah, totally into it. But like in retrospect, I'm really happy for that because I learned, I was able to get my motor going and like, you know, yeah, I think it smoked a little. It wasn't as good as everybody else's, especially my brother's. Oh man, Rob's just like,
No, but it ran, and you understanding
yeah,
the principles. Love it.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
never buy
and
an electric car, says PvP. I like the idea of the torque. I mean, for example, this in Whistler Ski Resort. I said I lived there for a better part of 20 years. Those ski gondolas, they have to move like tens of thousands of tons upon at startup, like to move all that cable and all those cars. So they have electric motors, and man, when they have a power outage and they have to switch to diesel, you can tell. I'm sorry, but the diesel just cannot do the things that the torque. It doesn't have the torque that the electric motors do. You
yeah,
can tell. You can tell. So I like the concept of the electric motor. I really do. But the batteries, man. If you have a problem with your batteries, you're screwed. You might as well buy a new car. So, I don't. I want to be able to evacuate in a forest fire and be able to throw a jug of gas in my trunk and know that I can go 1,000 kilometers if I need to. You know.
yeah, and not have to worry
Or if
about your
Trudeau
own
starts
vehicle.
enacting
or
more
you
censorship laws, like the cops are definitely coming after me, so
or
I'll
you
have
don't
to
want
throw a jug of gas in the car and away I go.
yeah, or you don't want your own vehicle blowing up as a result of the heat from the fire.
That I don't park if I'm in a shopping mall or something, which doesn't happen often, but if I am, I don't park near those charging stations because if a
Yeah.
car is charging, there's many videos online of people, the car
Ha!
charging catches fire and then it spreads to the cars next to it. So there's no way I'm parking next to those things. No way. I
Whoa.
mean, I'm a practical guy. There's no reason for me to. Redheads are awesome, says Suzanne Eckstein. Are you a redhead, Suzanne Eckstein? Did she change her profile picture to a
I
redhead? I
think
think
you
she
did.
did.
You
I
did.
think you did. That's Little Orphan Annie.
Or is
The
that her
damn
cosplaying?
light comes on if
Because
my
I think it's
tires are 2 pounds. Oh wow! Just take a long drill bit in a cordless drill and drill right into that bulb until it stops making light. Right in through the dash, a long thin drill bit, and just drill that bulb out, and she won't come on anymore. Redheads turned me on, says PvP. Yes. Seems the internet is fueled by manure. In some cases, yes, it does. Hell, Trudeau could fill us all up. Yep, he sure could. Ottawa could.
yep.
Brunette guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
brunettes are good. Blondes, brunettes, redheads. Yeah, but I do like the redhead.
Hmm.
I do like the redhead. Oh yes, hi, PvP. Thank you, man. I meant to do this last time, buddy, and it slipped my mind. So my apologies, I didn't do it sooner. But you know what you're doing, man. You've been around a long time, and
Yeah, nice.
I've streamed with you many times with Jill, and you've been on my channel streaming with me all the time, buddy. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. But I'm super excited to have you on tonight, Rod, and I'm
Hmm.
I'm I'm setting up one-on-ones because when I have big panels, sometimes some people don't get a chance to talk very much,
Mhm.
and so when I have one-on-ones or maybe two other people, I really get a chance to hear what they've got to say. So I'm glad you're doing this. And then on Thursday, I'm hoping Cam Ken.
Hmm.
I'd say that three times fast. I'm hoping that Cam Ken is able to join me Thursday night for Travel Talk, and we're
Cam
going to
Cam
talk
is
about,
10? Oh,
yeah, he's going to come on Thursday nights, and we're going to talk about the times he went running with the bulls in Spain. He went
cool.
19 times.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's got. Hopefully, he can. I'm trying to set it up for this Thursday. Yeah, and then another fella I'd like to stream with is Nemesis of Eden. I know as well. I'd love to, and Snail Messiah is another person that we're trying to plan something. So lots of these one-on-ones or maybe two, three people conversations. Yeah. Do you mind reading, if you can, Rod, see this? Do you mind reading this from Miskatonic
Sure.
Batman?
Sure.
Thank you.
There was a sense of accomplishment replacing the starter motor in my old 96 Maxima. Can't really do that within a lot of these newer cars, and you're absolutely right.
Uh-huh. They do that on purpose. I'm sure they do. Yeah. I,
Well, no,
I,
of course they do. Of course they
I
do, because they want to increase the customer dependence on it. That's why do you think there's car dealerships now?
yeah,
You know, are
yeah.
everywhere. I
And
mean,
the
there's
tax,
you
every time
can't
you
just
go
go
into a mechanic,
you
you pay
can't just go
tax.
to a yeah, you can't just go to a car lot. Well, I mean, I mean, used car lots you can, but I mean, like, you can't just go to a brand new car lot and then just order like a certain brand. You have to go to that brand's store. Like, how fucking
Right.
uh honestly, how infuriating is that when you really honestly think about that? You know, I mean, just like, what? Why? I'm at a Ford place and I can't buy a Chevy. What the hell? You know, I mean, like, that's like
Right.
that's aggravating, really.
Suzanne Eckstein says, I've driven a hybrid crossover, but I wouldn't buy one. I've driven one too. I'd be more inclined to own a hybrid I'd never buy an electric car, but a hybrid, maybe. I like the idea of being
Yeah,
able to run on both electricity and fuel. And I'm
yeah.
sorry, Suzanne Eckstein, I'm not right up to my laptop. I'm sitting in a chair kind of far away. I did not realize that picture was you. That's a picture of you. Okay. I couldn't I'm far away. And I thought, well, who's the most famous redhead you can think of other than Mary Jane Watson? Would be Little Orphan Annie.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I'm gonna have to look at that carefully. Oh, I'll be damned. That is you. Okay, it was hard to tell with the shadowing in behind your hair. No, that's a nice
Mhm.
picture, Suzanne Eckstein. That's an excellent picture. That
Yeah,
looks
it's
really
a
good.
beautiful picture. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I am sorry. I didn't see it very close. Yeah, I don't. I agree, and I don't. A hybrid. It was pretty cool. It was quiet, but I tell you, if I lived in a big city, I'd be worried crossing the street, getting hit by those electric cars because they are so silent. When I lived in Tokyo, they were just
Mhm.
starting to come out,
Huh.
and man, like that, it's scary because you cannot hear those suckers at all. They almost need to put like a little noisemaker on the damn thing on
Yeah.
purpose. Like how they add a scent to propane for safety because it's naturally has no scent. So yeah,
Haven't
absolutely.
Have you seen Futurama? They joked that the Toyota Prius was the biggest people killer back in the early 2000s.
No, wow, no, because it was so quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually the car that I drove. The hybrid that I drove was a Toyota Prius.
I would own one if it wasn't for the price. If I could get one at the same price as a gas and I could maintain it, like fix it, do work on it, which is a big if.
No.
I like driving it. Nemesis is good people, Suzanne Extine. I agree. I think so. Yeah, PvP. And Miskatonic Madman says, I like the idea of filling my tank in under 5 minutes and being on my way. Agreed. Filling your electric car. And again, what if the government decides that it doesn't like your political views and it decides to shut down your bank accounts? Well, okay,
Or
no
your
problem. I have
electric car.
cash. I have cash at the house. That's fine. But what if they shut down your electric power? So now you don't have electricity to your house and you don't have a vehicle, basically. You can't charge your vehicle. Or they shut down, they can hack into your car and shut you down. Absolutely. Now, do I plan on doing a lot of criminal activities? No, but that is not the point. That is absolutely beyond their prerogative. It's beyond their authority. And I don't know when. Like, when was it okay for cops to start, like, just randomly stopping Canadians on the road now? Like, they can just pull you over and stop you now. Right? They don't have to suspect anything. When did that change? Holy shit. And I've heard a lot of people getting arrested and then not charged because they have no intention of charging you. They just arrest you to get you out of the scene, to get you out of there because they don't like what you're doing. Like, that is not. When did that become okay? And Canadians are just putting up with it. We're taking it right up the butt, man. We're not fighting back. I mean, I've written probably 7 members of parliament this week. I've written 7 MPs and I've heard back my own MP and he called me by in my letter in his response to me. He called me by my first name. He called me Steve. So I'm doing what I can, man. But there's a lot more Canadians that our policing is getting out of hand and they are getting more authoritarian. They seem to be getting away with violating our rights more and more and more. And it's not in the news. It's not like no one's really saying very much about it. And no one's really outraged, you know? No, I'm not happy about that. And maybe our generation maybe we were used to speaking up more, Rod, because we had to put up with bullying growing up. And I don't want all bullying to disappear. I think a little bit of bullying can motivate a person, and it's maybe healthy. I don't want us to all be a bunch of wussies. That's for sure. And I don't want the government to be able to, or anyone else to be able to just walk over us. Thanks. You painted it long ago. Oh man, that is really nice, Suzanne Extine. That is, well done. I'm not just saying that. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Chat with him on panels and doing Pops Tuesdays. Yes. Hi-Fi side streams. Horror. I can't do horror PvP. I know a lot of people can, but I don't like being scared. Darn it. You have fun, interesting conversations. There's a lot of good conversation topics to be had but that are not pop culture. A lot of people do pop culture, and I've always been fascinated by politics. It was my minor in university. I did cultural anthropology, and thus the Thursday night travel streams because I'm fascinated with travel. But my minor was political science, and so I enjoyed polite political discussions and then the philosophy behind it, like philosophically. There's a lot of philosophy behind democracy. I studied a little bit of philosophy in school, and I liked it. I liked reading it and just what makes democracy, and should Canada have a Second Amendment, like it actually written constitutional right to have our shotguns and rifles. Should Australia have it, a Second Amendment? Put entrenching your right to own a firearm in writing, in the law. Neither country has it right now that I'm aware. So, yeah. PvP, that is a smart way to be, my friend. I'm too boring. The government's not noticing you. Yeah. Yeah, you've never. Well, hang on, PvP. You mean on Jill's streams, you've never said anything controversial that maybe didn't pique the government's interest in you? Really? I don't know. I've heard you get pretty passionate sometimes talking, brother. I guess it depends on the topic. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry, I've never experienced any conspiracy stuff firsthand. No, neither have I. But I can see. I study history, though. I'm not an expert, but I'm a student of history, and I know I study political science history, and world political history in particular is interesting to me. And so I know a lot of governments in the past, like nothing I suspect our government of doing hasn't been done by governments in the past. Like we have historical proof of, like
Hmm.
the people when they get power and money, uh, corruption follows, man. Like if I had all the power in the world and all the money in the world, I would hope that I would be not corrupt and I would be fair and it wouldn't go to my head. I don't know. That's just, could you do that, Rod? I mean, it's a big ask. Hey, Rod. No, okay. No problem. Oh, PvP says I had a great experience with a cop 2 weeks ago. Oh, that's excellent. That is fantastic. Good. See, that I do feel like the good cops out there must kind of feel bad when they watch some of their fellow officers disregarding the Constitution. But again, maybe they should speak up. I certainly hope. Pop has converted you to gore. Ah, yes. Yeah. PvP. It's awesome. It's nice when you meet a good cop. I have a few cop friends. Yeah, I do as well. I do have a couple of cop friends. And yeah, I genuinely I think their job is hard, really hard. And they have some fellow officers that are making everybody look bad. So hopefully they can clean it up. Hope, um, hopefully we can get some respectability back to the force, and really hopefully they do some retraining on our constitutional rights, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Miskatonic Madman says, bullies pick on those who think they are weak. Stand up to them and see them slink off to the next target. Exactly, Miskatonic Madman. And PvP says, I'd love to chat someday. Well, absolutely, PvP. I'm glad you're on the panel. I know you've been on the last couple of big panels that I had, and I'd like to do that. Absolutely. And in fact, you're not that far away, dude. And summertime's coming up, so man, we should go down to Lake Okanagan. We'll turn on the camera and we'll go looking for Ogopogo. We'll do a live stream looking for Ogopogo this summer, man. I'm not joking. That would be fun. Suzanne Eckstein agrees with what I was talking about last night. She wants Canada to have a Second Amendment. Rod, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think about that? Canada should have a Second Amendment written down, or no?
What's okay, but like Second Amendment, when you like what to bear arms?
Yeah, I don't think it's actually written anywhere in our Constitution that we actually have the right to bear arms. Would you be in favor of Canada having something like that written down, like a Second Amendment in the like the U.S. has?
I don't know what to say about that because I'm kind of like I don't know I'm kind of middle of the road because I mean as a I mean live on a farm where like yeah of course we have guns, but I mean like at the same time too, I mean like my guns were kind of grandfathered to me.
Right. Yeah.
And also uh uh I thought we were pretty much free enough to be able to bear arms anyway, but then no, and I do have my friend. He's the manager of a local grocery store, and IGA, and he actually roused me a little bit, more too. Kind of, hey, you should get off your ass and come on, try and stand up a little for like gun rights and everything like that. And I'm like, because I mean, to a degree, I kind of pulled for like gun registration, but I mean at the same time, I mean, we all know the whole thing of like, if only no, I mean, if if it's not legal to carry guns, then only outlaws will have guns, or I think it was something like that.
Yeah,
And
you're not
made me
wrong.
and it's made me think, no, we should actually, man, we should,
Yeah.
we should actually have like
With close controls and restrictions to make sure that whoever owns a gun has to have the proper training. I am a big fan of that. Absolutely. Canada's gun owners happen to be some of the statistically speaking, some of the safest groups in the world. When hunting season kicks off in the fall, you don't see shooting incidents go skyrocketing up, do you? You just don't.
no, that's right.
PvP says Jill is never controversial. Speaking of our friend anti-derivative Jill, agreed. She's too sweet to piss folks off. I'd agree with that statement.
Well, Suzanne Eckstein may join us this summer.
Oh, fantastic. Best plan, never keep governments in for too long. I agree, PvP. Like 2 terms, 8 years max, or even better, like a term and a half, like 6 years maybe. But yes, not too long.
Andy Masterson, how you doing, brother?
Oh, fantastic. Snail Messiah says, I saw 4 police officers while doing night shopping this night. Even the woman was nearly as tall as me, and the men were at least 10 centimeters taller. Wow. Sort of intimidating. Hey, nice. Andy Masterson. Good evening to you hosers. Joking. Good evening, my Canadian friends. Hey, we were just talking about whether Canada should have a second amendment, Andy Masterson. That, and we were talking about how the government likes to control our water and is trying to stop us from having farms and growing our own food. And they want us to eat processed crap and then have pharmaceutical products to make us all better. Basically. Great business plan, as long as you don't have a heart. I would agree with that, PvP. My experience has been most cops are there to serve and protect, very few bad ones. I agree. It's just the bad ones have been pretty visible lately around Canada, sadly. I think the politicians in Ottawa pick out the biggest pricks in the RCMP and they bring them to Ottawa.
Yeah.
I may join you boys this summer. Hey, that's awesome, Suzanne Eckstein. Yes, come to Lake Okanagan with PvP and I. We'll do a stream looking for Ogopogo, and we'll do like history and lore of Ogopogo. That'd be awesome. Rod, do you mind reading what Suzanne Eckstein wrote?
Yeah, sure. She says, she says, I'm a responsible gun owner. Legal guns don't kill people. Bad people kill people. Absolutely right.
I would totally agree with that. And we're finding more and more evidence in real world life situations. Rod, as you probably know, you're a man of the world. England has clamped down hard on guns in the last decade in particular. Yeah. And they've really cut down on guns, and gun laws have been really strict. So what do you think's happening now in the UK? And it's not very funny. Knife attacks have gone through the friggin' roof. So now they're actually considering making laws about knives in public. Like they don't get it, do they? They don't get it. Then people will just use sticks or rocks or whatever. They don't understand. There's an underlying cause, and I think it's a lot of stressed out, especially younger males. Maybe a lack of future, lack of inspiration, lack of heroes. You mean,
Mhm.
geez, Batman's gay, Luke Skywalker's dead, Han
Yeah.
Solo's dead. They've got no one to inspire them. There's
Yeah.
employment's, not awesome. Constantly on a daily basis in social media, you're being told that men aren't needed, that men are what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yes, toxic. And
Yeah.
there are literally companies that will not hire you if you're white and male. It's crazy, but it's sadly true in some cases. And so, I mean, the cure for racism is not more racism, folks. That's
Right.
funny. Funny how that works. But so yeah, a lot of these guys, man, they're walking around with a chip on their shoulder, and
Yeah.
a lot of them grew up without fathers in their lives. That's another big problem. That wasn't a problem in our grandparents' generation, but there's a lot of
Right.
fathers that have been forced out of the family situation, or perhaps possibly shouldn't have been fathers in the first place. So you got a lot of these guys that don't have, and school teachers. You don't have any men really in the smaller grades as school teachers, so you don't get that male influence even in schools. Because I mean, I wouldn't want to be a male school teacher in the younger grades. I'd be terrified of being accused of something. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
no
Exactly.
friggin' way. One false
Yeah.
accusation and your life is over. So you're not getting the male role models in schools as much either. That you're telling me that has to have something to do with it, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's actually was something I plan to address in my book series too.
Ooh. So taking guns away,
Well,
that's a
not that the
you're
gun, not
treating the
guns, but
symptom. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm just saying that's treating the symptom. You're not getting to the cause of the problem. So
yeah.
you were
No.
going to talk more about the cause of the problem.
Yeah. Well, just simply that there's no more manly men or anything like that, and and then Jules is eventually going to be considered toxic somewhere along the way, and then eventually the school curriculum will decide to uh, pull uh, pull physical education completely, which
Yes.
will leave Jules initially without a job until ultimately he gets
Yes.
and then
Canadians can
ultimately
get guns if they're licensed.
yeah. And then ultimately, Jules decides to use his own life experience, and um, then he creates a niche for himself in the school as an outdoor education teacher, and
Oh, okay.
and then using that book that I have
Hmm.
that I showed you, Northern Bushcraft, and
Yep.
then he winds up teaching them an outdoor education class, and as a result, he also takes some of the Stoic lessons that he's learned in his lifetime. Because
Oh,
Because Jules is also going to be a Stoic, a
that's
practicer,
important.
an
That is
advocate of
important.
Stoicism today.
Moira
And then
Kitty.
people,
Hi.
hey, Mara Kitty, how you doing?
Hi, Moira Kitty. Hello. And she says an armed society is a polite society. I've witnessed that with my own eyes. That in my own, I mean, that's antecedent evidence, but anecdotal evidence, but antecedent evidence. Yes, uh, an armed society is a polite society. Absolutely, 100%. People living in Texas would agree with that. Well, how when you're writing about things like that, Rod, are you concerned about? Do you have to be careful about getting too political? Because if you go one way or the other too hard, you'll turn off half your vote or your half your readers, right?
Uh, yes and no. I mean, because one of the things I want to try and advocate too is just simply that, I mean, there's two sides to well, really, there's three sides to every story. There's one, the other, and then the truth. But I also feel more along the lines of, I mean, again, Stoicism advocates, advocates that respect other views, not just yours, and just because
Listen to other
and
views too.
then
Yeah.
you think, I mean, like, you think you're right, yeah, well, that's not the truth. There's no truth, only a perspective.
Hmm.
I mean, I mean, everybody, I mean, everybody thinks they're right. They're not. It's just
Yes.
a perspective.
Well, yeah. I mean, unless you're talking about like scientific fact, of course, with statistics and math, that's obviously different. But yeah, if you're talking about perspectives and opinions, yeah, no
Mhm.
one. I like to think that a combination of everyone's
Oh yeah, of
opinions will
course I've
get you
read.
closer.
Yeah,
Get you
it's
closer to the truth.
that Marcus Aurelius's meditations. Of course,
Yeah.
you can't be a Stoic without that.
Yes, you and I were talking about Marcus Aurelius in private. Yeah.
Yeah.
PvP said. Now, what do you think about this, Rod? PvP says, "I'm happy with the current situation as far as the gun laws go." Because we've had some new laws introduced just in the last couple of years. You can't own a handgun anymore in Canada, and there are some. I know the AR platform is being phased out of being made legal in Canada. What are your thoughts on what PvP said here? I'm happy with the current situation as far as the
To
gun
be
laws go.
honest, I think I'd probably have to go with him as well. I agree with that. I
Yeah.
mean, because you know, uh, you know, I don't know. I mean, like, I do have to agree. I mean, more handguns for everybody. Then what? I mean,
Well, we're not
you
allowed
know,
any handguns right now. You cannot.
no,
We
I know
cannot
that's
go
what I
buy a
mean.
handgun. They're illegal.
No, no, I'm speaking from the other perspective. From the other side. I mean, like more handguns for everybody. Well, then what? I mean, look, I don't disagree with like, hey, there's nothing wrong. We should have guns. Yeah, but I mean, like, handguns are handguns can be like, what exactly are they for? And like the more handgun, if a handgun's around, and like we've all heard stories of like kids getting into like handguns, and like handguns are a lot easier for kids to handle too. You know.
Then a shotgun?
Uh,
I'm not sure on that. Have you ever gone hunting
yeah.
deer, Rod? Have you ever been out in the deep woods where the wolves and grizzly bears are?
No, I haven't.
That would be my only. I, I would want a handgun because I have been hunting deer in areas where there are bears, and my shotgun was right beside me, loaded to go. I would have
Hmm.
felt better with a 45 Magnum on my hip because by the time you get the shotgun up, and it's and you get one shot, maybe if you're lucky, as opposed to if you have a 45 Magnum on your hip and the bear comes up trying to eat the deer that you just killed, and you can pull out a 45 pistol and shoot it repeatedly, pretty quick, much quicker. So, like if you watch any of those Alaskan wild shows, or if you know anyone, if you've ever spent any time up in the Yukon or Alaska,
Hmm.
people go around with weapons on their hips for
Right.
bears and wolves for predators. So that would be one problem I think I have with banning handguns, and also I've gone shooting handguns just this year. My friends have handguns that they have had for a long time, and I went shooting, just target shooting at a gun range. My God, are they fun to just for fun? They are so much fun to shoot.
Hmm.
You know, um, and you've got to keep them locked up. Like we have laws in Canada saying you have to keep them locked up, and the ammunition has to be separately stored. That is a law. Those are laws. So I
Switzerland, you can carry guns, but the ammo is supposed to be kept in a secure location at the gun range.
oh I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah,
I
you
I,
can't just
I
walk
don't.
down the street with a gun.
I agree with you in PvP that I don't want people walking around with like a 45 strapped to their hips like the Wild West here. I agree with that. And for the most part, for 90% of the gun laws, I do agree with the current situation. The only difference I would like to see is I want handguns because it's very they're not just going
Yeah,
to give anyone a handgun. Like you need a
yeah.
restricted license permit. That's a whole extra level. Like we have some of the most rigorous standards for owning a gun in the world, uh, of those that allow guns.
Hey,
And,
Scotty, 3137.
and then yeah, a handgun is extra on top of that. So I'd like to see handguns for if I'm hunting and I'm out with grizzly bears. I'd like a 45 on my hip.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from. I don't want people walking around shopping malls with a gun strapped to their side. Hell no, not in Canada.
Yeah.
The USA needs Trump, and Canada needs Trump to invade us and save us from our own selves. We need to stand up for ourselves, Suzanne. We just need to stand
really
up
what it
for
is.
ourselves.
Yeah.
In a polite way. In a polite PvP being licensed means we are vetted every 24 hours. Yeah. Yeah, licensed gun owners, they are checked everywhere. 184 centimeters, by the way, says Snail Messiah. Okay, so the dudes that you're walking around with are a few, significantly taller than you. Yeah, you got several, you got quite a bit of height on me, buddy. Snail Messiah, but all the Europeans are taller, except for the Italians. I found the Italians to be shorter. Yeah, I found the Italians to be shorter, Rod.
No, I agree with that. I'm just like, what? Europeans are taller? No, I don't think so. But then I'm 6'3", so.
Oh, well, yeah. See, he's up in Scandinavia, and I don't know if you've ever been. I haven't been to Norway or Sweden or anything like that, but I know the farther up you go, like in northern Germany and Holland, the Netherlands, those guys are all your height. It's pretty tall. You know, Trump is hiding by Naramata. Oh, no, Ogopogo and Sasquatch are hiding by Naramata. Yeah, that's a small little town in BC, folks. Plenty of legal guns kill people. Yeah, they do. Again, keep the training. We have very high standards for training. We have very high standards for how you're supposed to store your guns. And yeah, absolutely. You have to be responsible, and I think we do a pretty good job in Canada. The people that I've taken a gun course a few times, Rod, and my instructors, I don't know if you have, but they were really professional. They were really top notch.
Well, they have to be. I mean, that's the whole point behind their teaching. Sorry, I mean, I'm not trying to be.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Ignorant or anything like that.
Not at all. You're 100% right, Rod. Oh, I remember this. PvP says we had a famous murder here about 10 years ago in Kelowna. They hit the Bacon Brothers guy at the best downtown hotel. Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, fortunately, Kelowna still doesn't have too many murders. I'm glad. Snail, all the deaths in Canada have been with illegal guns. Yeah, it is a ridiculous. It's like 97.8%. It's virtually all of the deaths in Canada have been with illegal guns. There's a small percentage that are accidental shootings, things like that. I don't think they include suicides in that statistics. But yeah, you're right, Suzanne. I did see the statistic not too long ago. It was like near 97.8%, something like that. Of deaths are done by illegal guns, brought over from a large amount of them. I think are brought over the border from the States. Sadly. PvP says, I know the UK folks, Swatty. Stabbings in the UK have become very bad. Yeah. I don't know, Rod. Would you rather get stabbed or shot? I don't know. Maybe shot.
I'd rather take my chance with stabbings, mostly because I feel more like I could defend myself better.
No, but assuming they're gonna get you, like assuming it's actually like you either get stabbed or get shot. I don't know. Like at least you're in shock. Like if you get stabbed, like you're not in shock as much. I think you'd feel the pain more. But I don't know. I've never been stabbed or shot. Knock on wood.
Me neither.
I've got a big mouth too, Rod. So I'm surprised, but I'm fast. I'm very, very fast.
Yeah.
I'm little and fast.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, we had 19 people killed from a stabbing rampage here in Saskatchewan 2 years ago. Holy crap, Suzanne Eckstein. I know when I lived in Japan, you'd hear stories every once in a while about guys going crazy with and it was usually dudes, stressed out dudes going crazy with katanas and samurai swords. That's crazy, right? Do you mind reading this? Because it has to do with some of the subjects you were talking about, Rod, from our friend Miskatonic Madman. Rod? Nope. Okay. I'll do it. He says, let's see how attitudes change about men if an armed conflict breaks out with a foreign entity. Too much complacency these days. Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, okay. Rod is having technical difficulties, but he'll be right back. And you have the keys too, Rod, so you can let yourself in and out. There's a couple of more chats, so we'll keep going. Thanks, folks, for being here. This has been a great discussion. Thank you for being here, folks. It's a nice, relaxing Sunday evening, and we're talking politics and world events, and we were talking barbecue as well.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem at all. I agree, Miskatonic Madman, and I've often thought that a lot, and it's not all. I don't even think it's a high percentage of the ladies that I know, but there are women. It seems to be all right these days to say, we don't need no man, and men are toxic and men are no good and men are hosers, and if an armed conflict breaks out and people start invading Canada, I think some of those attitudes are going to change pretty quick, because I don't think the girls that are talking this way want to pick up guns and go to the front lines. So they might need men for cannon fodder. Literally. I could be wrong.
They need to also be told that if they want equal rights, well then take up working in the sewer. Come on, where's all
the high tension lines? Isn't it something like 99% of high tension and sewer workers and bricklayers are all men?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mentioned that to my sister once. It's like, because we were having this polite conversation. It's like, well, or was it a friend? It might have been a friend who was female. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was a female. I'm saying, well, you often hear women's advocates groups, because this person was of feminist orientated thinking, saying you hear ladies and feminist groups, demanding that the ladies and pushing for ladies to be, half of the CEOs should be women and half the bosses and half the power positions should be women. You never hear those same ladies pushing for bricklayers or sewer workers or high tension, high voltage line workers to be half female, do you? Half of the garbage workers should be women. You never hear them saying those things, do you, Rod?
No, that's right.
But I think that, like, some things like high tension lines, man, that's something maybe a lot of dudes couldn't do, and so the ones that are doing it, it's some more suited to guys. You need strength and endurance and grit, true grit, right? Hey, great to have you. Great to have you here again, Moira and Andy. Thanks for being here. PvP says, being a stoic man sounds great, but it is harder to practice. Ooh, I know you got thoughts on that, Rod.
Well, absolutely right. I mean, shoot, even Lisa said to me earlier this week, don't, I did kind of complain about my job, but I mean, and then she kind of, it's like, you don't have, she's like, stop complaining. Don't, and then it just hit me too, because I was like, one of the things Marcus Aurelius said was simply, if you can improve your life, do so. If not, then accept your fate. Stop complaining. And and I realized too. I realized, and I realized too that Lisa is not the person to sit there and bitch things about. I will say sooner or later. I mean, some things will probably come out, but I mean, ultimately, no. I mean, you just don't want to be that kind of person who's always complaining about something, though.
Exactly. You're right. I try to be positive, man. Even when I get bad news, I really do try and and look at the 5-year perspective, the 10,000-foot view. Like, am I going to be worried about this in 5 years? If not, don't stress about it. Now, PvP says he also admires Marcus Aurelius, and Pleasant Valley Picker advises anyone should read his meditations.
Anyone read his? I have. That's what I said earlier.
And it's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about this? Snail Messiah says an armed society is a society of polite, but fearful people. I'm living in a society where every house here around me in the country, every house has a shotgun by the front door. Every house has guns in it. Like, there's a lot of semi-automatics around here. There's a lot of handguns around here.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't wear them out to the gas station, but they're in case a bear breaks into your house when you're cooking breakfast. We've got them.
Yeah.
And all of our kids are trained how to use them safely, and they respect them, and they do. They're responsible with them. I've never seen a country kid not responsible with a firearm. So I'm just talking about my personal experience here. I've never lived in Texas. I think people here are fearful at all, and we are. But maybe he's talking about walking around in public with guns like Texas.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
What? Sorry.
What Snail Messiah says here.
Oh.
An armed society is a society of polite but fearful people.
Yeah, that's actually, I think that's pretty accurate. That's a good way of looking at it.
I would agree insofar as if he means walking around in the shopping malls with it. Yes. Because I've been to like places like El Salvador and San Salvador, where there's armed guards at every storefront with like machine guns, and I did not feel at ease. So if that's what you're talking about, Snail Messiah, I would agree. However, I live in a society, in a community. Every one of us have multiple guns in the house. Multiple guns, and no one here. I don't feel fearful at all, and I don't think anyone here does. But yeah. Ooh. Oh, go. Yeah.
Snail Messiah says, as a martial arts trainer once told me, you're only here because you're afraid of getting your ass kicked. I had to agree with him, and this is something I agree with too.
You don't think people go to martial arts? Like for myself, it was. I don't know. I thought it was cool. Well, I wanted to do karate, man. I wanted to like break boards and stuff. It was just cool. I didn't have anyone bullying me because I was too fast. They couldn't catch me.
Right.
I'm too little.
Well,
no one picked on me. I was too little.
Well, see, you were lucky because I was the only Indian in the entire damn school.
Oh wow! No, we had 30% of my school was native because we had a reserve next door, and 30% of my friends were all native. You were the only Indian in your school? Holy crap, man!
Yep, and predominantly Swedish and Ukrainian community.
Oh, okay. Any Indians from India?
Pakistan? No to that either. Again, I was the only colored person in the school.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But we didn't talk about it as much back then. It seems like today that's all anyone ever friggin' talks about is. I hear it in when people are advertising positions or there's a government announcement. It's like the first black native woman in a wheelchair to this position. I was like, I don't care. Can she do the job? Stop. It was Morgan Freeman who said, you know how to stop racism? Stop talking about it.
Right.
He said that to Don Lemon in an interview on CNN. And he said, Morgan Freeman, how can we stop racism? And he said, stop talking about it.
Yeah, that's one thing, especially that. And too, exactly. And I'm reminded of Pierre Burton actually asked Bruce Lee. Yeah. Pierre Burton, as in when he had his Canadian show in the
Canadian news reporter. Yeah, very famous.
He said he once asked Bruce Lee, like, do you think you're Chinese or are you American? And then he said, and then he just sat there for a second and looked very thoughtful, and he said, I think I'm human. I'm a human being. And he didn't, and he said, I don't associate or identify myself with how I look, what color my skin is, or anything like that. I just associate myself as a human being.
Excellent.
And I thought, right on.
Nice.
He's a philosopher. Good for him.
Exactly. And again, the person flying my plane or the person doing my surgery, Rod, I don't care if they have blue skin and are a woman with a penis on her forehead. If she was the top of her class, I want that person to be my surgeon. I want that person to be my pilot. Whoever got the highest marks and had the highest skill. Can be, I don't care what color they are. I do not. They can be a trans man in a frigging nightgown. I don't care. Did you score the best on the test? Okay, I want you to be my surgeon. You can wear a goddamn ballerina dress. I don't care. Are you good at what you do?
You know who did this? The whole identifying racism, like, hey, that's racist. I mean, okay, first of all, yes, like they spread the woke ideology, but it's also just simply, you know what it really is? Everybody thinks it's somebody else, but like, I mean, like the Black Lives Matter movement and all that, right? Yeah, well, you know what? Guess who funded them? George Soros. What I'm saying is the rich.
It's a political movement. Excuse me.
Yeah, and here we are going. Yeah, I know, and here we are going.
And no black communities got helped out of that. Not a one. They got hurt, if anything.
Yeah.
From what my limited Canadian. So I'd like to get back to the chat because I think we're getting behind here, Rod. Yeah. Suzanne Eckstein says, PvP, I'm a hermit until I need to shop or hunt. I'm happy staying at home, smoking a weed, enjoying raising my young man. Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. And PvP agrees, says we might have fun together. Yep, agreed. Those are fun things. Spider-Man, I ended up selling my handguns to my doctor. I only have my long guns now, says Suzanne Eckstein. Yeah, it is. Even when handguns were legal to own in Canada, and I guess if you bought them a long time ago, you can still keep them, but the restrictions on them are very, very strict here in Canada. We have existing laws that are very strict. If you want to take your gun to the firing range to go shoot to target practice with your handgun, you have to go straight there and straight back. You can't even stop for gas. You need to go straight there, use your gun in a safe way, bring it back to your house, and it goes right back in the safe, locked.
Yeah.
And the ammunition gets stored separately. Very strict regulations on handguns. So I do think that we should be allowed to have them, but with those same very strict regulations,
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. At least I think we should have a debate about it in Parliament. Like, let's at least, instead of like willy-nilly just throwing edicts like Trudeau likes to do and just making laws and making them happen, can we at least debate it in Parliament for a good, honest debate for a while? No, PvP, handguns are not for hunting humans. That is a popular thing that you hear people say, but anyone who's lived in Alaska or lived in the countryside where I am with grizzly bears, no, handguns, large caliber handguns are for your best defense against a grizzly bear or a predator such as a wolf. Mountain lions. My brother had not long ago had 2 mountain lions in his yard, man, before he got some dogs. It was crazy. Yeah, you're not going to have time to bring up a shotgun. You're just not. That's not how it works. And you know what? Handguns are fun to shoot. They're just fun to target shoot in a safe. Like I said, take it straight to the gun range. Don't even stop for gas and bring it straight back. And it's locked the entire time it's in your car, in your sight. I think they should have very strict regulations because they're dangerous things. Mind you,
How many knives are in your drawer? I mean, you can do more damage with a knife in a crowded train station than you can with a gun. I guarantee it. Rod, wouldn't you think? If you're in a crowded train station with a knife, you could do a lot more damage. PvP, yes. I'll have you on and we will talk about it. You were saying you wanted to come on, and I've got a roster of a few people on the list, and I'd love to have you. I'll add you in the lineup, and I'd love to have you on, and we can talk about and explain your. Yeah, it's a lot harder in chat. A lot harder to explain yourself in chat. So I get it. Yep. A chat statement can absolutely be out of context, 100%. So I'll have you on. Like I said, I've got a few streams planned. And I'll have you on, and we'll talk for extended lengths about it.
Yep. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
No, I figured you had some technical issues. I just wanted to keep up with the chat, Rod, because I don't want to ignore the chat.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Do you mind reading Snail Messiah's chat message?
Yeah, please? Sure. I think if you live in an area with dangerous animals, you should, by law, be forced to be armed. Huh.
Well, there used to be laws like that, yeah. There are dangerous animals here, yeah. I have come across grizzly bears here. And I've had that feeling walking on hiking trails, Rod, that like I felt like a big cat was watching me going down to some hot springs. We have some hot springs not too far. And I don't know, one of the times I felt like it's a 4K hike in to one of them, and I felt like a big cat was watching me. For I don't know why, but again, if I was out in the woods, like you're talking 3 hours to get to the nearest hospital, right? So if a cat attacks you, you're dead. So if I had a sidearm on me, I would have felt more safe. Yeah, I think I had a stick with me. I had a stick, Rod. Stick against mountain lion. Sounds fair, right?
Well, you have to understand though too. I mean, like animals don't randomly attack you though. I mean, ultimately they do it because they think or believe you to be a threat on their territory on some form or another.
Yeah, absolutely. And Suzanne Eckstein says, PvP or no, dear. I've had to have my sidearm while hunting for safety, just like Spider-Man is saying now. Yeah, and agree. And very restricted situations, very restricted. I believe in restrictions and laws, absolutely. A chat statement can absolutely be read out of context. And yes, I'll have PvP on not too long. I'll have you on in the next couple of weeks, PvP. I've got a couple of streams planned for the next upcoming week, but in the following, I'd love to have you on, and we can talk about it for a couple hours.
Yeah,
because it is hard to making statements in chat is not the same as when you're on a panel. And Rod, thanks, man. I'm thinking we're gonna wrap it up here pretty soon, but I really want to thank you for having a great discussion, and thanks. I am a damn dirty ape, says Scotty R37. Thanks for being here. Thanks, man.
Yeah, likewise, man. I
have a bazooka. No, I don't. Well, you know what? If you have proper training,
I just said that on the chat. I'm sorry. I just finished writing that in the chat, and then you're like, yeah, I think we should wrap it up. I'm like,
oh yeah, no, I agree. I'm just looking at that now. You know what? If you're licensed and you go through the training PvP and you prove yourself to be a responsible person who can take a bazooka out to your farm, so you got 20 acres and you want to blow up a tree stump with your bazooka and you have the license and you have proven that you have gone through all the safety training, I would have no problem with you having a bazooka, sir. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
As long as you only use it on tree stumps.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Fantastic. Excellent to have you here, Scotty. You can have a BFG, big fucking gun. That's awesome. Do you mind reading this from Snail Messiah, please, Rod, if you can?
before we wrap it
sure.
up?
Moira Kelly, fearful people are dangerous. I am very much against guns in cities. I would, however, mandate open carry of swords and legal bout with police present to be refs.
Ooh,
That's interesting.
that is very interesting, Snell Messiah. I think he's only half kidding.
Yeah.
I think. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm glad. Hey, thanks for being here, chat. You guys are regulars, and it's great to have you here. And I do appreciate it. I really do. Because otherwise, it would be just me and you know what, Rod? If it was only you and I, you're an interesting dude. I would love to chat with just you and I. But since we do have people in the chat watching us, I appreciate it. Ogopogo is Sasquatch is in the mountains behind Summerland. Summerland is beautiful. Peachland and Summerland, Rod. I don't know if you've ever been down there.
I've been there and went to the BMX track there actually
gorgeous.
once, way back when.
Oh, yeah. We have homeless and druggies, but still it is still a safe community in Kelowna. It is still relatively safe. A lot of petty crime, though, PvP. I've heard a lot of people getting their cars broken into and bicycles stolen and things stolen from their homes and sheds. And I know businesses have had issues, but overall, you're right. There's not a lot of violent crime. Fortunately, not yet. And hopefully it never does. Hopefully it never does. I really do like the area that you live in, PvP. I do. El Messiah says an illegal gun can be owned by a good person. Here, guns are not legal, and yes, only criminals have them. But be a lawful person and keep a gun, and then you're by default a criminal. It's a big discussion. It really is, and any law that's going to be passed like that affects your constitutional rights should absolutely have extensive debate in Parliament. That's what Parliament is for, debate. And I don't mean debate where the other side shuts down debate and closes it down early. I mean a full, honest debate. Yeah. Afghanistan lost over 50 soldiers, says PvP. Wow.
Nice one, William Shakespeare.
Foreign conflicts happen very recent. Yep, they have. Not in a good way. Hail, William Shakespeare. Hello. And hello, thespians of the chat. I'm surrounded by paperwork tonight. Hope you all enjoy these last hours of the weekend. I think we are. And do you mind reading this from PvP, Rod? And then we'll...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he didn't get severed in Afghanistan. I think the guy served in Afghanistan.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, gee. That's a little chilling, though, to think. Did he get severed or did he get served? No, I'm pretty sure he served.
Yeah, well, you could get bone and a half, but hearing his stories were great. Yeah,
he was a great. But I didn't finish reading.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done with it.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just making joking over his that he served and not, or that he served and didn't get severed.
Fortunately,
but he was a great guy. Hearing his stories was great. Yeah, right on.
Mm-hmm. William Shakespeare, he must abstain tonight. Have one for him. We will. Suzanne Eckstein has had friends that served in the Afghan war. Yeah. Again, hello and hail. Suzanne, I knew a guy 4 years ago taking the 55 plus program at the community. It was interesting, says PvP. He served in Afghanistan. Yeah, I do know some people that served in Afghanistan. Canadian Spider-Man, my 15-year-old boy is dead, shot. He's 100%. Oh my God. Holy crap, I read that wrong. Jesus. Okay.
I was just like,
okay, he was not. Yeah.
Read it before you.
Canadian Spider-Man, says Suzanne Eckstein. My 15-year-old boy is a dead shot. He's a good shot, and he's 100% responsible and safe. Yes. Okay. Good. As a martial arts trainer once told me, Snell Messiah says, you're only here because you're getting your ass kicked. Oh, yes, you did. Okay, yeah. He's a great guy. Yes. Nice to see you here tonight. Yes, it is. Same here. Hello. Hi. My boy got his first gun when he turned 12 years old. Well, I think I was handling a shotgun with partridge about that age, Suzanne, and never had an incident. I was very responsible as a kid. Put my boy in karate to learn discipline and calming techniques. Yeah, and physical. It's good for physicality too, to get in shape. Spider-Man, do you have any idea how funny it is to prove a white supremacist wrong? Oh my God, my oldest daughter is a racist. Oh, piece of shit. She just found out that we're from a black bloodline. Oh my goodness. That's funny. I saw when Geordie LaForge found out that his bloodline had white slave owners. That was interesting. Bartender slides a beverage over to PvP. Thank you for tending bar, William Shakespeare. Her grandkids could literally have been born dark skinned. My God, wouldn't that have been funny? Oh, yeah, you need a permit to have your gun to go to a gun range or a gunsmith. Yeah, Suzanne Eckstein. You have, in order to go to a gunsmith, absolutely. And it needs to be locked the whole time when you transport it, and it can't go out of your sight. In Toronto, PvP, Spider-Man is in your neck of the woods. Yeah, PvP and I live. If he drives, if he gets in his car and starts driving now, and I start driving, we could meet each other in about 45 minutes, under an hour.
Yeah.
It's the intent, not the weapon. 100% PvP, absolutely. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of mental illness, I think, that needs treated these days.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rod, please.
Yeah. William Shakespeare says, beer is how you catch slugs. Stronger alcohol is kind of deadly to us. Ooh. We prefer fermented berries and fruits we find on the ground. Big Bren.
True story. And that
PvP exactly, very close. Most dangerous animals here.
We do live very close. Yeah, that's right. And like I said, PvP. I definitely want to have you on the stream. And we'll talk just you and I, or maybe we can have Rod back if he wants to. Just the three of us talk, whatever you want, PvP.
Yeah, love it.
And I'd like to come down your way. And man, I'm not joking about doing a stream from looking for Ogopogo, man. Go to the lake. I love streaming from in the.
That would be cool. Yeah.
You know, I'd love to. Absolutely love to. I'm in the area, Suzanne. You're in the right. You're in the right neck of the woods. I'm not far. Mountain lions can get you in the blink of an eye. Ray Lucard. Hello and welcome.
Hey, Ray Lucard. Good to see you.
Yeah, you're right. Mountain lions. I fear them more than bears because they can be vicious. I remember that girl they found who'd been eaten by coyotes. She was out running. She should have been carrying. Agreed. There was a 22-year-old native guy in the Yukon, and he was out running, and a pack of wild dogs got him. And now a lot of people in the Yukon do, when they're out, they do carry guns, but he was not. He was not carrying, and it cost him his life, and I can't imagine.
They figured so die. Yeah.
Can't imagine getting eaten by dogs, man. Like,
extra cider.
Yeah. Regular cider. Love it.
Yeah, good to know.
Love cider.
Really card.
And do you mind reading this from William Shakespeare?
I laughed when I first saw this. Open carry of swords. I carry a small sword wherever I go. For seppuku. It uses this magical potion we call ink. Oh, even better. Okay. Yeah. They can destroy entire companies and reputations. Must be used with caution. Yep, exactly.
Nice.
Well, awesome.
And Suzanne Eckstein says, yeah, my lawyer does as well. Shit, I don't even lock my vehicle or the house. Small village living. Yeah, same, Suzanne Eckstein. My car has the keys in it right now in case my buddy or one of my friends needs to use it. Absolutely. 100%. I often go for a jog and don't lock my door. Absolutely. Oh, Rod, you got kicked out again, but you'll jump back in. He's having connectivity issues, and I think we're just about done here, folks. Yes, lawyers are particularly skilled with the weapon of the pen. Canadian Spider-Man, I will be sitting back, laugh my ass off when my great-grandbabies are born and we see my daughter's face. She had no idea where she got her views from. We are seriously a mixed-race family unit. It's hard, Suzanne. Yeah. I don't know. I wish we could go back to the 80s in some ways.
Yeah.
Snail Messiah says, Canadian Spider-Man. Do you want to stream on meditation and spirituality? Thunderheart, I think, would enjoy it. Absolutely. Yeah, I've been to a lot of religious buildings all over the world from many different religions. I'm not religious myself, but I'm as a student of cultural anthropology. I love talking about religion and discussing it and spirituality, which I know is different from religion. 100% Snail Messiah.
Yeah, sure.
I wish you were streaming. Oh, thanks, Suzanne. No, you know what? It's time. It's been 2 hours, Rod, and I've got to. It's getting cold in the house, and I let my wood stove go out today because it hit 21 degrees where PvP and I are. 21 degrees Celsius. I was out in my shorts and t-shirt. I had my shirt off in the garden in my shorts. So, but the fire it needs to be lit now. It's getting cold.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
This was an awesome chat.
Likewise. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. All right, man. Well, see you next Saturday or Sunday or whatever. Yeah.
Well, before you go, I feel like, is there anything else you want to say on anything we discussed? Or do you want to promote yourself in any way as far as your wrestling or your stream, what streams you might be appearing
on? Don't have anything in the immediate future. Aside from that, I'm pretty much, I'm gonna plug my book, but aside from that, oh geez, where is it now? It can't be. It's got to be here somewhere.
My bonfire stream was 6 hours, Suzanne Xteen, the other night, just 2 nights ago. That was a 6-hour stream. That was a long one. Thanks for being here, PvP.
Yeah. Weird. Oh, well, the stream's about to end, so like probably should have had it up at the beginning or something like that. But you know what?
Please go ahead. Yeah. Do you want to? Are you going to put on the camera or no? Solo.
Well, it's not really anything to, we saw me earlier.
Okay. Yep. Sure.
But oh man, thanks for having me on. I kind of pushed you into it. So
I'm glad you
did. Hopefully we can try and get these going on a regular Sunday night, or maybe a Saturday night, or I don't know, or without at the risk of pushing into Clobby's stream.
Well, the internet's a big place.
Yeah, true. So anyway, man. Hey, it was a fun stream. I need to hurry up and go upstairs and make my last shake, and then for tomorrow, that is, and pray that they'll call me. Maybe not too early, because I'm actually going to be. I'm gonna get up, work out, and then I'm just gonna make sure everything's ready, and then just lay down and wait for them to call.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, Suzanne says good night, Rod.
Thanks.
Always a treat to have you here, and I couldn't agree more,
Suzanne
Xteen. Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know I did see you in there, and I did see you weren't feeling well, but I'm glad you're in here tonight, Suzanne. Tomorrow, I'm going to. You want to hear a funky British Canadian town name? Tomorrow, I'm going up with a buddy. We're heading to Salmon Arm. Salmons don't have arms. But apparently this town is named because there's an arm of the Salmon River that goes through it, so it's called Salmon Arm.
No, that's right. Because suddenly more people jumped on. Damn it!
No, that happens. PvP, I don't know if you're going to be anywhere up near Salmon Arm tomorrow, but give me a shout if you are. Heading up there. So there's an excellent butcher shop up there. It's got a Japanese name. Crap. Seidu, Sedu, Seidu. Delicious. Because they have wild meat and stuff. Bison. Anyway, have a good night, Rod. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, you too, man. Yeah, you bet. Take care, man. We'll see you. Bye.
Yep. Good night. All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.
We're going to end the stream. Good night. Thanks for being here.